Hey guys, welcome back to the movie summary. Beginning of the movie, we see a student named Nadine. She goes to her principal Mr. Brunner and says, I am going to commit suicide. I am telling you because I have to tell someone before committing suicide. For that, Brunner says, I am also writing my suicide note. I am tired of my job and life. Even during my favorite break time, some students come and annoy me. That is why I also want to die. He doesn't care much for Nadine. Then she leaves from there. Actually, Nadine doesn't like school since childhood. But her brother Darian was good at study. Every day Nadine came to school, she stayed in the car. Her father used to send Nadine to school somehow. She doesn't really like being in school. One day a girl named Krista comes to her and gives her a bug. Krista asks Nadine if you will be a mommy like me. They both want to take care of this bug together. During break time, Nadine puts the bug in her compass. So the bug dies. Then both of them will be very sad. This is how their friendship starts. Both of them used to spend a lot of time. Now they will both be teenagers. Pimples started appearing on Nadine's face. So she gets very upset. On the other hand, Darian is very handsome. Nadine's father takes her out for a burger because she is sad. There he says, your life is very good. I love you and many will love you. Now you've got cheeseburgers too. So they sing songs in the car. Just then their car met with an accident. Nadine's father dies. Then we see the scene 4 years later. After her father's death, she tried hard to become normal. But she could not become normal. Nadine forgot to smile. Today, after many days, Nadine talks happily with Krista. Nadine has a crush on a boy named Nick at school. Nick is her senior, so she can't talk to him. Then she goes to Mr. Brunner's office room and says, you have said the wrong chapter yesterday. Then he says you should have a life other than school. Then she goes and sits in her chair. Sitting next to her is a boy named Erwin. Later they both talk. After school, Nadine talks to Krista about Erwin. She also says that she doesn't like him. After that she goes to home. Nadine's mother, Mona, gets ready to go on a date with a dentist. She will not come home for 2 days. Now Nadine can do whatever she wants to do at home. She called Darian and told him that the whole house will be under my control today. I will do whatever I want to do. Nadine and Krista enjoy the house very much. Nadine drinks a lot. At night, Darian is playing in the pool with his friends. Nadine vomits after drinking too much. Nadine sleeps in the bathroom. Then Krista comes out. Darian is cleaning there. The house is a little messy because of their partying. Krista also helps him. Morning, Nadine wakes up and goes to Darian's room. There Krista and Darian spend private time on the bed. So she gets very disturbed. Krista apologizes to Nadine and says, I don't understand how this all happened. Nadine leaves without talking to her. Then Krista says something. Nadine says that there is nothing wrong with you. Then she goes to Darian and say, you don't have a body, first go to gym. Only then others will be interested in you. She says, don't come near my friends. Darian says, you don't have friends, you have only one friend. Then Nadine goes to school. There she realizes that she has not done her homework. She tells Mr. Brunner that I am a little upset because my father died. That's why she says I didn't do my homework. To which Mr. Brunner asks, how long has it been since your father died? She says 4 years have passed. Then he says that I will not suffer for more than a year if any of my family or relatives die. He says, I don't believe you are suffering from such a thing since 4 years. Hearing this, Nadine sits disappointed. Erwin then asks Nadine, how was your weekend? To that she says, my weekend was very boring. Erwin says, I went to play golf with my friends. Nadine also gets interested in golf. Erwin asks Nadine if she will come play golf with me. He wants to go alone with her. But Nadine says, let's go as a group. Later, Darian and Krista meet at school. Darian says to Krista that I really enjoyed spending time with you yesterday. Krista says she feels the same way. They plan to meet again. Nadine and Krista meet after school. Krista tries to explain everything clearly to Nadine. Nadine is very upset. She says, you should not have done this with my brother. She doesn't let Krista talk. Krista tells that doing this will not change our friendship. Darian and I are going to a party on Friday. You should come with us. Nadine also says okay to that. Then the three of them go to a party together. At the party they all talk to each other. Krista talks to all of Darian's friends. On the other hand, Nadine can't befriend anyone. She tries to make friends with others but does not succeed. Then she calls her mother. Mona is very disturbed. Because she went on a date with the dentist. But he already has a wife. At night, Nadine tries to send a message to Nick, the boy she likes. But she can't. Later she calls Erwin. Then Erwin tells that here's one of the theme parks I know. It is open till late night. Let us go there if you come. Later they both go there. They talk about their dreams and goals. Erwin tries to kiss Nadine. But Nadine moves back. Later they try to forget about it. Then they two play golf together. Nadine says to Erwin that you are a very mature person. Krista approaches Nadine at school the next day. Then Nadine, you completely ignored me when you met your friends. You are not allowed to date my brother. She says you have to choose one of us. Then Krista says as your wish and leaves from there with sad. After coming home Nadine talks to her brother. You were very sad when our father died. Once you cried all night. So your pillow got wet. Then I gave you my pillow. I care for you a lot. But you shouldn't have done this to me. For that Darian, you are very selfish. Let's not bring our father into the middle of everything. So they both fight. Then Mona comes and frees both of them. Mona only scolds Darian. Darian says to Mona, why you scold me every time? Mona says only you will listen to me. Nadine goes to where Nick works. Nadine asks him where is the thing she doesn't need. Then he tells where the object is. She says I came here to talk with you. Nick finds out about Nadine and ignores her and leaves. Next day Mona tells that I can't drop you off at school every day. And also says to resolve the quarrels between you and Krista quickly. Nadine looking for Erwin at school. Then his friends tells he is working on a project for a film festival. That's why he is not coming to school. Later she comes to Mr. Brunner and has lunch. Nadine says I don't have any friends here with him. I like old music, old people. Mr. Brunner says that's why everyone doesn't like you. Hearing this, Nadine gets very angry and scolds Brunner. Then he gives her a cookie and says you are my favorite student. Then she asks if this is true. Brunner says yes. After school Erwin calls Nadine and asks did you ask my friends about me? Nadine drops the call without saying anything. After a while she called him and says I took anti-depression pills. I don't know what to do. Then Erwin asks her can you come to my house? There is also a pool here. Later they both play in the pool. Then Nadine asks in a funny way do you want to be intimate with me? Erwin thought she was serious. Erwin gets upset knowing that she just asked. Then he says you should not joke like this with your friend. Then Nadine apologizes to him. Thus they both spend a long time. Erwin makes good drawings. He is making a movie for this drawing project. His parents don't come home for 3 months. However, he does not do any parties. He just concentrates on his goals. Next day Mona comes to drop Nadine near school. There she sees Krista. Nadine doesn't want to go to school after seeing her. Then Mona takes Nadine to her workplace. Nadine is very bored there. Troubles Mona too. Then Mona says if your father was alive, he would have been very sad to see you like this. Hearing this, Nadine gets angry and takes Mona's car and leaves. She messages Nick that I love you so much and I want to be intimate with you. Actually she doesn't want to send that message. But accidentally that message will be sent. She feels very regretful for this happening. Then she goes to Mr. Brunner. She asks him if you can help me by taking his phone before Nick reads the message. Brunner says don't get tensed. Everything will be normal. Take this money and eat ice cream. Mona calls Nadine. Nadine rejects the call. After a while a message comes from Nick. And that your message is very cute. If you want to meet me, you can meet me tonight. Nadine gets very happy after reading that message. Night Nadine gets ready and leaves for the date for Nick. She messes the whole room and leaves. Mona comes home frustrated. She gets more angry because the room is a mess. That night Darian and Krista will be at the party. Then Mona calls Darian and tells him everything that happened. Then Darian wants to go home. Krista also says she will come with him. Later they both go home together. On the other hand, Nadine and Nick go on a date. Mona is very angry at home. Darian asks her why do you always call me? Then Mona also realizes what Darian asked. She tells him I have no one but you. Nadine and Nick go somewhere. There they both kiss. Nick wants to spend some private time with her. But Nadine doesn't agree to that. Then Nick gets very angry. He says you sent a message saying let's spend some private time. Hearing this, Nadine gets angry and leaves. She likes him. But the message was sent by mistake. Nadine thinks Nick likes her. Then she calls Brunner. Brunner takes Nadine to his house. Brunner has a good family. Nadine is shocked to see them. After a while Darian comes there and says sit in the car. Krista is in the car. So she says I will not come. Then Darian gets very angry. Then Nadine tells you take everything easy. But I am not like that. Darian says nothing like that. I want to go to college, but I can't. Because I have to take care of the house and mother. He loves Krista. This matter is hurting Nadine. Darian is suffering a lot in himself. He then tells Brunner to leave Nadine at home after a while. After a while Brunner drops her off at home. After coming home she talks to Darian. She says I always think for myself. I behave very selfishly. She asks Darian to forgive her. Darian forgives her and hugs her. Next day morning Krista is at home. Nadine says good morning to them and leaves. Nadine doesn't wake up this early. Today Erwin movie is going to play in front of everyone. Erwin invited Nadine. When Mona wakes up, Nadine is not at home. Then she gets very worried. Nadine texts Mona that I am safe. Erwin movie is playing. In it a boy loves a girl. But the girl always ignores him. The boy then saves the girl from a monster. Now the girl comes to the boy. Then the boy ignores her and walks away. Because he was already moved on by that girl. She understands how Nadine ignores Erwin. Later she talks to Erwin and says I won't ignore you from now on. Erwin's friends come there. Erwin introduces Nadine to everyone. Nadine is happy to talk to everyone. Now she knows how to behave with everyone. This is how this movie ends. 99% people watch my videos without subscribing. I am working hard to make these videos. My humble request to subscribe my channel.